Hello, this is Chief Justice Antonin Scalia. I wanted to tell you that you should listen to independent podcasts. I'm a Supreme Court judge, and you have to do what I say, even when I close my eyes and talk to the camera and say things that are absolutely full of crap. But I've arrived at these conclusions at a logical way, and I'm a judge on the Supreme Court. That means they can never take me off. So listen to independent podcasts and stop dancing naked. What's wrong with you? Happy spring break.
This show is clean, pretty much.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
Who is that guy? Who was talking there? That guy, he's a judge. Supreme Court. I was trying to anyway. Mike Matthews broadcasting from Cafe Anyway here at the last place on earth located somewhere in Podcastro Valley. Today, the finale of my Into an interview with the fantastic Seattle songwriter Daniel G Harmmann. Plus, we hear from Madame Rootabega, Valentino, Bison Bentley. And what does Katy Perry,
Mike's Daily Podcast,
want on a date? A guy who's all buff and hairy?
Mike's Daily Podcast.
We'll find out. So there's a place about 45 minutes away from where I live, and it's called Half Moon Bay. Though it is pretty, I think I'm glad that I don't stay there for a living, because just yesterday I dealt with a mini dog issue on the beach.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
There were these tiny dried up jellyfish that Basil would eat like they were a peach.
Mike's
Actually like little
Daily
Pringles.
Podcast.
I worried they were bad for him.
Yeah!
Until a couple dog owners told me that their dogs ate them and they had no problems. And Basil was fine last night. No massive jellyfish dump came out of him. Glowing. Also, I don't care for the hospitality I encountered at Half Moon Bay's establishments yesterday. Maybe because I'm a stinking no good tourist. Hey, I am's what I am's. Look who just walked in. Hello, Michael Matthews. This is Madame Rootabega and the Chief Justice Antonin Scalia. He's so hot. Oh! Oops, I had that wrong. He's actually an Associate Justice of the Supreme Court of the United States. As the longest serving justice currently on the court, he is the Senior Associate Justice, appointed to the court by none other than Ronald Reagan in 1986. Wow. So, and he's like a staunch supporter of not putting cameras in the Supreme Court. And whenever I see him talk on the television, he talks so soothingly that I am lulled into a state of meditation and rest. Michael Matthews, that is wonderful. Yes, it is. He should be a yoga instructor. Look who else just walked in.
Oh, dear, Mike, this is Valentino, the parking attendant.
And this is Bison Bentley. Do you know that?
Mike, we don't like that you were calling Cruz, Ted Cruz, you were calling him hypocrite, or something like that, D.
Yeah, you were trying to make a pun out of his name and calling him a hypocrite. Do you know that? Yeah, I was, it was sort of a joke thing, but Ted Cruz, everybody's like, how is this guy going to get to be president? And there would have to be Hillary Clinton basically shamed by the media for whatever, pick any of the above, her emails, the color of her hair. They pick on her for everything. And then there would have to be Jeb Bush would have to say, no, I'm not going to run for president. I'm done. I was just kidding. And a bunch of other things. So we'll see.
We're talking about Chris Christie. D.
Yeah, you got to put Chris Christie in the White House. That would mean peanut butter for everyone. Do you know that? Oh, peanut butter for everyone. I could go for that. I'm a big fan of the chocolate and peanut butter together.
Yeah, that's good, D.
Good and fattening. Hey, so this happened today, and that is Katy Perry announced that she and I are going on a date. No, in my dreams. But she likes a man who tells jokes, so hey, I'm halfway there. Sort of. I guess what I say are jokes. The Dark Horse Singer, is that how they identify her? The Dark Horse Singer? She's got far better songs than that. Let me pick one of my favorites. The Wide Awake Singer, love that song. God. You know, all you gotta do is get divorced like she did, and you will appreciate Wide Awake. Anyway, yeah, and you know, she was married to Russell Brand, and she's had the on-again, off-again relationship with John Mayer. That I also wish I had. Enjoys simple dates, but she says the conversation must flow. This according to DurhamRegion.com. She said, my perfect date is really so simple. I like connection, good conversation, and jokes. I love jokes plus good food, maybe a movie. That would explain her fascination with Russell Brand, a famous British comedian, and John Mayer, who likes to joke around. The 30-year-old pop star finds it hard to switch off, but she is looking forward to being able to do normal things when her tour ends. Asked if she is good at switching off, she says no. Put me on a desert island with no phone, and I'll already probably have a phone hidden in some box. Wow. She's rich. But I love what I do. This summer, I want to have genuine normal experiences like going to the farmer's market and picking fruit. This is a fantastic life I live, but you don't get to grab your own coffee anymore. But please don't feel sorry for me. And when she isn't working, she enjoys having women's meetings with her pals. She told Britain's OK magazine, and that magazine it's okay. I love girls. I have an incredible, strong group of girls. We do this thing called women's meetings where we talk about our dreams and what we're grateful for. And we've put flowers in our hair and drink tea. I am quoting directly. She is actually saying this. Stuff like that. I want to treat women like I would treat myself. We have to stick together. Yeah! Let's stick together, women. Wait, I'm not a woman. Darn. Though I am not a woman, if a bunch of women get together, I would be happy to be the only man in that group. Something about that just appeals to me for some reason. What do you think about Katy Perry? Do you think her music is pop tripes? Like the fat coming off of a pig? Of an animal, and then with the pop, but it's also trite? I'm just marrying words together left and right because that's what I am. I am an ordained word marrier. And then you can also tell me what you think of all that at mikesdailypodcast@gmail.com. We read your comments on the section emails from email. Also email me there if you'd like to be a guest on the show or if you would like to be a sponsor of the show, mikesdailypodcast@gmail.com. You know, we have some fun here on this show. Although last show, it came to fisticuffs between me and the brewmaster. Michael Matthew, make love, not war. I will not make love to the brewmaster. I'd rather make war. Michael Matthews, that is not good. Woo! You're right. I should be nice. Be nice. Don't do evil, as the Google people say, as they go ahead and do evil across the world. But the brewmaster and I are forever friends. And he does not resent the fact that I point out things like that he sounds like a character from a Seth MacFarlane TV show. But you know what? We're going to move beyond that and say Mike'sDailyPodcast.com is a fantastic place where you can listen to this show through iTunes. There's a link there. And if you do that, comment on the show and rate the show there in iTunes. The more people find out about us, we don't languish in obscurity like the associate judge, whatever high priest he is, appointed by President Reagan said at the beginning of the show. And then you can also listen to the show on YouTube, SoundCloud, TuneIn, Stitcher, Podomatic, Mixcloud, Spreaker, Player FM, Ameristream. And I'm on the air in Connecticut. Weekday mornings, doing a morning show from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. A link to where to find that, as well as where to hear me playing country music on the weekends. I do that 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. Pacific time. A link to that, as well as where you can share this show with your friends on Facebook. Like the Facebook page, and when I post a new show, share it with your friends and more people find out about us. You can also follow us on Twitter and retweet us when we tweet. And you can also follow us on Instagram, Yelp, and Tumblr. Links to all those, as well as the Amazon link. Yes, you can buy things through Amazon at mikesdailypodcast.com. If you do that, just make a mental note before you buy anything on Amazon. Don't press that Tide button or whatever stupid button they got that automatically buys stuff for you. You're, oh, I am out of printing paper. I will press this button and Amazon will send it to me. Go through mikesdailypodcast.com and click on the Amazon link there before you do that. There's also the blog, the Daily Podcast Picture, and all my past interviews there at mikesdailypodcast.com. And speaking of interviews, here's the finale of my chat with Daniel G. Harmon, the singer-songwriter from Seattle.
Into an interview.
I'm speaking with Daniel G. Harmon. He's got this album called White Mountains. I'm doing my announcer voice right now. It's great.
Let's do your best Harry Carey.
Hey, it's Harry Carey.
It's Harry Carey.
Hey, let me ask you a question. What do you think about this? Nikki Glazer, one of my favorite female comedians of all time, tweeted, Christian rock, dude singing about a dude. Thoughts?
Oh, man, I have a lot of thoughts about Christian rock. You know, I grew up in a religious environment, and in Seattle, there's very sneaky Christians that play contemporary music, and nothing makes me angrier. Yeah, I mean, and they no one really knows, like the masses don't know, but then they get looped onto these big shows and secretly try to program you, and that sounded really weird, but yeah, it makes me really, 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 really angry.
I wrote a song called God is Embarrassed by Christian Pop Music. I'll play it for you next time you come to the house.
I would love that.
And what is your favorite method for songwriting?
Mostly, you know, like I think we've chatted before about how I have notebooks full of stuff that I just write but will probably never get written.
Right.
Musically, my favorite is just picking up a guitar, goofing around and coming up with something, and then coming up with a melody, and it all kind of falling together that way. Like it's one of those things where, like, when art is being made and you're part of that process, it kind of gives you chills. And that's my favorite way to write. It doesn't happen very often, though. You just kind of have to be ready for it, I guess.
Be ready, open for the inspiration.
Yeah.
And I'm going to play New Concerns.
Cool.
And your Bill plays piano. Your friend Bill plays...
My Bill.
Your Bill.
My little Billy.
Bill, I love you still, and I always will. Dramatic piano on here, and there's like a wash of guitar chords, and then that little keyboard peck, and then you've got that haunting chorus.
Thank you. Yeah, we get all Daft Punky on this one.
You put on the helmets and get all French.
Yeah, well, this song actually was I released it as a single this summer with my friend Voxmod, who is an electronic artist. And so on my Bandcamp page, there's a completely different version of it. And I wanted to make a rock version of it for the record, and that's what we did.
And they can find your Bandcamp page at thetroublestarts.bandcamp.com.
You got it.
And if you could have one of your songs on a CW show, what would it be?
What shows are on there now?
There's Arrow.
Gilmore Girls.
Gilmore Girls. We'll travel back in time to when Gilmore Girls was on. Yes.
Lorelai.
Oh,
She'll
damn.
be crying to one of my songs.
You know, I have that soundtrack, and that's I used to have that's my wife got that in the divorce, the DVD collection. But that's okay.
Now you can just Spotify it.
Yeah. Daniel G. Harmon, let's play New Concerns. The album is White Mountains, and you can find it at danielgharmon.com. And thank you for being on the show, and I'll say hi to Basil for you, and I can't wait till you're back on Mike's Daily Podcast.
Thanks, Mike. It's always awesome to talk to you.
New Concerns. From the album White Mountains, Daniel G Harmmann. That album's out now. And it was great having him on the show as we go outside of Cafe Anyway here at the last place on earth located somewhere in Podcastro Valley.
And here's today's podcast picture.
Basil the Boxer and I went to Half Moon Bay yesterday, as I was discussing in my song, and he ate a bunch of the little jellyfish thingies that are just, they're like paper thin, tiny little things. And at first I went up to one and I took a picture, and Basil went over and he sniffed it. And I'm like, okay, that's all right. He's not going to do anything. Next thing I know, he's like eating it. I'm like, no, drop it, and every time he tried to eat another one, I would say no. But he just loved eating them. I'm like, oh, this is nuts. Your dog should not be eating dead sea life on the beach. But as I mentioned, other dog owners were saying, no, my dog does the same thing. It must taste really good to them. I don't know. So anyway, on that note, you don't actually see the jellyfish. I dated a girl named Julie back in the 90s. That's maybe where that came from. She was a redheaded gal. Very artsy. Very free spirit. Very patchouli. Julie Patchouli. Then the picture is actually of Basil the Boxer and I on the beach there at Half Moon Bay. And he was having such a good time. And it was so nice. Half Moon Bay can be kind of overcast. It was so clear. And the sunset was so nice. Just wonderful Bay Area location to check out. If only the people in the Bay Area would not be such jerks to the Half Moon Bay people, maybe the Half Moon Bay people would be nicer. The Half Moon people is what I'll call them from now, because I like to do that with words. Like I said, an ordained priest of marrying words together. Michael Matthew, are you done? I think pretty much. I would like to date Antonin Scalia. Can you make that happen? Is it Antony or Antonin or Antisimoniman? Mike, I like to put a little bit of that in my coffee. Yeah, cinnamon and coffee is the bomb. It's very delicious. That's what they call a Mexican mocha. Do you know that? Yeah, when you add the mocha, when the chocolate and the cinnamon to it's... Next show, it's the return of the much-loved feature called, we haven't done this in a long while. It's called This Is Interesting, where we hear some interesting news following a humorous theme. Plus, we hear from Shelley Shuhart, Floyd the Floorman, and John Deere the Engineer.
Mike's Daily Podcast is written and produced and performed by Mike Matthews. His podcast is super easy to find. Download or listen to his show and read his blog at mikesdailypodcast.com. Email Mike now at mikesdailypodcast@gmail.com. See you tomorrow. Bye!